Greetings, everyone. I am Diane Thomas, and thank you for making time to be here today for my first live in my performance coaching for Black people YouTube channel. So, thanks so much. I am honored to have the time with you today and going to make the best use of the time that we have together and hopes that it's going to bring some value to you. So I'm going to go over just some brief, maybe uh, what you'd like to know about me and what the whole purpose of this is, and then we'll see where that takes us. If we want to explore having some questions answered and things like that, so you will let me know and guide me into what we need to do next. Okay, so um, who am I? I'm Diane Thomas. I'm a certified high performance coach. I've been coaching in the certified high performance methodology since 2015. I am going to go a little into that in a bit, just in terms of what it is and how I got involved with it. But essentially, I see myself as an empowered Black woman. So if I were to describe myself, that's what I would say. I am also, on the personal tip, I am a daughter. Uh, I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a confidant. And hopefully, I'm an inspiration. That is my goal as well, to be for people who know me and maybe those who are just getting to know me. Professionally, as I mentioned before, I'm a certified high performance coach, and I am also a avid supporter of new small and growing nonprofit organizations. So I work and help them develop their fundraising programs for their organizations. And this is a very busy time of year, so I am just getting uh, geared up to see what help that I can offer with that. So I am looking forward to a very prosperous and busy uh, next few months coming up. I am, in terms of why I coach Black people, it's a passion of mine. I am a Black person, of course, but beyond that, I specifically wanted to find a way that I could serve that was going to counter a lot of the narrative that we are hearing now in these spaces, the public forums on social media, etc. It is not. Um, the challenges that we have to overcome and override a lot of the negativity that we're hearing. And so I um decided that I had to find a way to cut through all of that if I was going to be in a public space like this. And but even beyond that, and how I was going to serve one on one with Black people, because I decided that I can't. I think it's better for me to stay in a lane that I am very familiar with. Because as a Black person, I know some of the challenges we have, and I'm more comfortable in talking about the nuances that sometimes can hang us up. So that is definitely an area that I wanted to focus on, was how we can use the tools, the skills, the God-given talents that we have and possess to empower ourselves, to elevate ourselves above our current conditions. I also frame a lot of what I talk about in this space, and when I'm having coaching sessions around countering the constructs of Black excellence and Black exceptionalism. Um, I had been under that cloak for a long time and not even realized that it was a thing, and discovered that a lot of what the expectations were unrealistic, and I wasn't going to be able to meet up to match them. And then, as a result, I found myself kind of on the outskirts of a lot of things, of a lot of advances and things that people were doing, because I wasn't a part of those spaces. And so I realized recently that it's something that is unrealistic for us well, for this Black person. I wasn't going to try to morph myself into something I wasn't. um, I am going to be excellent as Diane Thomas, and however that shows up, any space I'm in, I'm representing Black people. So as long as I keep that mindset that I am, in my effort to embody the best of who we are, as I'm embodying the best of who I am, then I feel that I will be excellent in that sense and not trying to meet somebody else's unrealistic expectations. So that's why I am very much against Black excellence, Black exceptionalism. We are exceptional people in and of ourselves. We don't need to prove anything to anybody. And, these are white supremacist constructs. And so I am deciding that I'm not going to be a part of that. I also want to coach us in terms of understanding that the way we behave obviously comes from the way we think about ourselves, and that comes from the beliefs that we have. And so I think there's never a time like the present for us to change the way we may be looking at things. And those things that we look at change, and that includes ourselves. And so understanding what appropriate behavior is for Black people, understanding that we need to be focused on uplifting one another, um, whatever negativity or critiques we have to give to one another, we do it lovingly, we do it in the confidence and understanding that it's coming from a place of us wanting to see the best for one another. And again, to counter a lot of what we're seeing in the public spaces that we're in, a lot of people are doing things that are and acting in ways that are counter to our best interests. We are actually seeing a lot of people doing things that work against our collective best interests, and it comes back on us whether or not we are participating in it actively or not. So we're all we got. And so I am all in for the rest of my days, in this physical space that I am occupying. We're all we got, and so I'm all into helping us be the best that we can be. And that may sound cliche, but a lot of us have kind of settled. And to me, mediocrity is a bad word. I don't even use it, and don't consider myself. I don't deal with the status quo and well, this, we've always done it this way, or things have always been this way, and we can't do things better or differently. I don't believe that. I believe if we work together collectively, that we are going to have the supports from one another, but we have to extend and give grace to one another as we are working through it and stumbling and making mistakes and things like that. So that's why I love coaching Black people. That's why I'm in this space. So, what is the coaching methodology that I use? It's called Certified High Performance Coaching. And there are 5 core principles that are a part of that coaching methodology: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. And I'll explain those in a minute, but they're all anchored in necessity. So, the necessity for us is that we are, again, going back to some of what I said before, but in terms of you as an individual, why is it necessary for you to be your best, to perform whatever performance looks like for you, because it's all individual. But in terms of you being satisfied with who you are and what you bring to the spaces that you're in every day, you need to have a why. Why is it necessary? Why is this essential for you to do? So with that as the undercurrent for these principles, the first one is clarity. So when we think about clarity, we're thinking about it in 3 spaces. Clarity, first off, of who you are, clarity of self. what do you represent? What do you want to be for yourself? What is it important for you to demonstrate in the world? So being clear about yourself. Also having clarity about the ways that you want to interact with other people. um, I have come to understand and been more being more sensitive in terms of how I show up in spaces, especially when I'm transitioning from one situation or thing that I'm doing to another. I make sure that I'm bringing my highest energy and my best self to the uh, to the space that I'm in, because I want to show up a certain way, and I want people to leave after they've left me feeling what I intended to communicate to them. So the level of interaction and being clear about that is another part that I coach people on. And also in terms of what your success markers are. So, what are the things that have gotten you to the levels of success that you have now, or you feel are going to get you to higher levels of success? And those are things that you can probably develop habits and practices around. So I work with clients to help them think through, in the collective of the coaching experience, what success looks like for them, and making sure that they double down on those things and doing those things in a consistent basis. Now, when we think about who needs a coach, this is a concept, or a way that we've been hearing people engaging quite regularly now, probably in the last maybe 10 years or so. I don't think we talked about, it wasn't a thing that was talked about a whole lot up until, very recently. We thought about coaches in the sphere of sports and things like that, or maybe if you were preparing for some specific um, event that you had, like maybe you had to defend your dissertation somewhere and you needed, a speech coach or something like that to prepare you for one specific thing. And then when you were done with it, you went on to just being and doing as you had been before. With certified high performance coaching, I work with people that want to achieve that level. So would be like peak performance in preparation for something, but they want to achieve it and maintain it for the long term. And that is something that you need to develop a muscle for, just like you would do for any sport that you are a student of. It needs to become second nature for you. And so, a coach who is coaching you on performance, in this case, certified high performance coaching, it's designed to give you a set of curriculum, a set of tools, some practices and habits to help you develop that muscle so that it becomes second nature for you, and that your focus is always about how can I get to and maintain whatever that level is for you. Um, as a coach, I'm also your cheerleader. So I am here to support. I support my clients. I check in with them. It's a 12. Usually the core sessions are 12 weeks long, and they are we meet every week, and they have homework and they have worksheets to do, and they can share them with me if they want to. But it's really important for them to do the work, whether or not I see it. But I try to keep their energy and their interest level really high with the way that they're able to move through these specific pieces. I also want to go back. I just realized I didn't explain the other four pieces to the high performance coaching methodology. So we talked about clarity. So let me jump back into that for a second. The next one is energy. So that's really how you're able to maintain a level of vitality to do the things that you need to do every day. So I talk with people about what they need to do to energize and to relax, because both of those things are important in getting to levels of vitality. Then there's courage. So how are you showing up every day so that you are able to speak and live in your truth? A lot of us are not living in the level of authenticity that we would like. And so for whatever reasons, We may feel hesitant to speak our truth, and that is costing us. It's costing us dearly. For some of it, it may cost us financially. It may cost us in relationships. It may cost us uh, in health. So we need to develop the language again and that muscle to build to understand that a lot of that is driven by fear and frustration. And so I kind of walk with my clients through what that looks like for them. So we have clarity, energy, courage. The next one is productivity. So how are you going to be able to show up and do the work that you need to do for you? Not so much the busyness, but actually getting things done, keeping the main thing consistently through the work that you are doing for yourself or for somebody else. Productivity to me also sometimes means you're not doing anything at all and you're being productive. And it's okay, especially for us as Black people. We feel we always have to be the one volunteering for this thing, or we have to be the one staying late to do this or that or the other. And it's exhausting us, it's tearing us down physically, mentally, emotionally, in all the ways that are keeping us from being our best selves. So, productivity is really important to get a handle on how you manage your time and how you manage the demands, quote unquote, demands on your life in terms of determining what's urgent and what's important. Because a lot of times the urgent stuff is other people's priorities. The important stuff is what you hold as priority. So I talk with clients about that. And then the last one is influence, and that tends to be um, one of the principles that a lot of people tend to shy away from, or hadn't even really thought about in terms of their influence with people who they are in their circles. So whether it's at work or at home or with friends, et cetera, how influential are you, and would you like to be more influential? And so there's ways that we can be influential. We can model the way, so we can just be influential by what we do. We can also be influential in terms of challenging the way people think about things. So we're giving them maybe asking questions or just giving them different perspectives about how to think about things. So those are the five big pillars of the core certified high performance coaching methodology. I'm certified in all four. We have four areas that we cover. We cover declarative, there's declarative, and there's also charge sessions and leadership sessions. But I won't go into those to confuse all of this. Uh, right now, the focus really, for the most part, is on the core, because once you get the core, then you can work up to do to doing the other types of um, uh, the other sessions that are available in the certified high performance coaching methodology. And so again, when I think about why people need a coach, we need someone to guide us. We need someone to show us the way. It takes a long time to try to figure out certain things, and the most direct line or path between A and B is a straight line. So if you have someone that can kind of help guide you through that, that is a definite benefit in terms of having a coach who has an objective view. So it's not your best friend or your mom, or a relative who may not really want to tell you, which is the other thing that a coach can do, that give you the hard truths. The tough love may be something that they're hesitant doing, or maybe you're even hesitant asking for. And so you may just be more comfortable talking to a stranger, quote unquote, but someone who can keep the focus on you and what, having you have a critical mindset and perspective around what you do and how what you're doing is affecting your life. There's also that opportunity for a coach to challenge your preconceived notions. So you may be walking around with doubts or questions or assumptions even about what you can or can't do, or how you can or can't move in a space. And your coach can again give you that outside high level view for you that maybe you're not actually able to see. Um, maybe one of those people that can't see the forest for all the trees. So a coach can help you determine and distinguish the things you should really be paying attention to and the things that are impacting you from those that don't serve you. So that's really important. And what I've learned specifically with this particular um, methodology is that you are able, through being coached, to have better answers because you get asked better questions. Again, it's a conversation. So I have conversations with the people that I'm coaching, and so I am listening and I'm judging what they're saying to me based on what they claimed to say that they wanted, maybe in a past session or even in the assessments, because we do assessments as a part of this engagement. And so I may call them on something that they claimed that they said they wanted to do. And then if I'm able to frame it in a way that they hadn't thought about before, then it gives them a different way to think about it. And as I was saying before, when you change the way you look at something, the thing itself changes, and it usually changes for the better. So this channel here, as I mentioned, I started it back at the end of the end of June. And my intention is to cover several different types of topics. A lot of them are really rooted. Obviously, what I try to do is bring what may be kind of a worldview about a certain topic, but bring it down to what at least my experience has been as a Black person dealing with certain parts of that issue, whatever they may be. And so that is what I'll be doing in this space. I have been posting at least once or twice a week on topics that just come to me that I am interested in exploring. And so I do a little research and I mix that with my own personal experiences, and I have been presenting that to you. So what I want to do in this space is have an opportunity as it grows. And hopefully you will subscribe if you haven't already. You can take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button so that more people can learn about this channel. Is to really let people see that coaching doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's, I think it's an obligation. I think we're all coaches in our own way. So we all have people that come to us for guidance or counsel in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's just a responsibility of being human and being alive to share. The only difference has been that I was able to kind of bring this to I was able to find a methodology or way of doing this that met and aligned with and was congruent with who I was. When I describe myself and the things that are really important to me, I am a person who takes personal responsibility for her life. I don't go off and think about who I could blame for why things aren't the way they are, or things are the way they are or aren't better. I look at myself first, and then I take responsibility and make the changes that I need to make. The other thing that's important to me is continuous improvement. So I'm always looking to do things differently, differently and better, and find ways that I can improve myself. Because I think there's always room for that. And as long as you're alive, that's what you should be doing, is my philosophy about it. We need to all be finding ways that we can grow and elevate. Elevation is like number one for me. How can I move from where I'm at now to the next level? And so I'm constantly in that mode of getting better and continuously improving. And then the other thing is lifelong learning. So I don't think there's going to ever be a day when I'm not interested and curious about the world around me, about the people around me, about what's new and trending, even though I may not participate in it. But I think as being a part of humanity, it's our, again, responsibility to know and to be aware and to be constantly curious about the world. And so I want this space to be an expression of those things. So who I am, and also hopefully connect with people who come in here who have those same tenets that they live by. So that's what this space will be used for. I will have opportunities to do to answer questions, which I'm happy to do. I haven't been looking in the chat, so I'm going to do that in a second. If you have any questions about what I do, and or any questions about the overall um, coaching sphere, high performance coaching, I can answer those for you. But that's what this space is going to be about. Even if I've posted some things, and maybe some things in my videos you didn't agree with, or you wanted to expand upon, or had some comments you wanted to make about that, I'd love to hear it. I'll also love to hear your topic ideas, because I'm I don't have a team of people that I'm working with. This is a one woman show here. So I'm really interested to hear what other things that you feel may be topical and current event type things that you feel are really indicative of some of the challenges we have as Black people, specifically in this anti-Black racist space that we're in. So I would love to kind of hear what your topic ideas would be, and I would love to have opportunities to talk about that in this space also. So with that, let me see if you have any questions. I'll take a look in the chat real quick. Oh, hey, I see who's here. Hey, Coach Lee. Hey, my sister Abena. So glad that y'all are here. Thank you so much for supporting. So this is going to be the space I'm in. Let's see. So, oops. Why go the crooked road when you can get the straight path of coaching? Ashe. That's right. That's exactly right. We need one straight line to where we need to go, and not all these diversions that we tend to take. Okay, what would you say Black people who have difficulty? I'm sorry, I don't have my context in right now, so I'm having some challenges. Hold on. Black people who have difficulty. Oh, taking rest. Oh, yes. Yeah. That's a big one. I am forcing myself to be much better at that. I have decided that Sundays is my day, that I don't care what deadlines I have. I am not looking at any screens. I'm not sitting in front of computers or anything. As a matter of fact, the universe kind of set things up last couple days for me where my eyes are just like shot after a certain time of night. I can't even look in screens and things like that. But I think just the bigger question in terms of how we feel so compelled constantly. And I think a lot of that is the way we were raised. Again, it goes back to the Black excellence, Black exceptionalism, right? We have to work 3 times as hard to get half as much or half as far or whatever as the dominant society. And I practiced that for a while, but it did not work for me because I was in spaces that my skills were not appreciated, and that sacrifice wasn't appreciated. And I just find that, what is it, to thine own self be true, that they say. I think if you are not living in congruence, if that's who you are, I think naturally, and there's some of us that are really driven, and I can be in those moments, and so I can maybe push myself a little bit past where I should be. But, at some point in time, something's going to break down somewhere, and you're going to have to step back, and you don't want it to be your health that you're sacrificing. And so I think each of us as well, giving grace to one another And maybe when we're asking people to do things for us or whatever, finding out, is this going to fit with your schedule, or will you have time, or just checking in with people about where they're at before you ask them what you would like for them to do for you. I think we can do that for one another, even though the dominant society doesn't have that, but just to isn't doing that, but giving grace to one another, I think, is something we can definitely do. Hey, Angela. Good so glad you're here. Yeah, so I think we have to really have that mindfulness. And I think, again, it goes back to some of the things I talked to with some clients about rest, and building that deliberately into your schedules. Um, we don't tend to make the time. I know for myself, I strive, because fitness is important to me. So I strive to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I schedule everything I have around that. It's like an appointment that I would have for a client. But I hadn't been doing rest that way. And so now I am doing that. I'm giving myself permission to do that, because I don't want to get, as I'm getting older and better, that's the way I would like to put it. Um, I know that I have to change the way I'm doing things. I can't do things the way that I used to do them before. Not going to be it's not going to be a space where I'm going to be able to maintain. And I want to maintain. I want to get to that level of high performance and maintain it. I don't want this going on. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. So it's thanks so much for that question, Coach Lee. I appreciate it. So let me know if you have any topic ideas. I'd like to see if you've got uh, any ideas about what I could cover. I've talked about, well, my last post was on caregiving. And I actually posted it. I had it on my schedule, but I don't think I had realized the timing of it. It actually was the 8th anniversary of my mom's passing. And so I was kind of reflecting on um, some of the ways, even though I didn't know it at the time, that I was able to show up in the mindset of high performance for the 6 years that I took care of her, because I had obligation, other things, other parts of my life that I was trying to bring in harmony. I don't really use the word balance so much anymore. It's now harmony. And the challenges that I had around doing that, and maintaining myself, and making sure that she had the things she needed, as well. So I covered caregiving. Um, I did 2 videos on leadership. I thought that was really important, because a lot of us, especially preparing internally for leadership, a lot of us find ourselves in leadership positions, and it's largely because we choose to take them on, or we may be what is the word? Um, I forget the word right now, but we're drafted to do these things a lot of times, in other words. And so I think that we're kind of thrown in these situations a lot of times, and there's no preparation for it. So I did 2 videos on that. One on how you prepare yourself internally to take on leadership roles, and then what that looks like externally. So I covered leadership. I think I covered productivity. I think that one was like, keep the main thing was one topic around that. I think I've done a couple videos on clarity as well. Now I'll say that my delivery style is very direct, and I do have my approach is to teach as I am sharing information. I don't have a lot of graphics and things in my videos. I have been trying to keep them to under 10 minutes. I think the last one went 11 minutes or something like that. So I would definitely like feedback from you all also on, I don't expect you to watch all of them, but, for the couple that made the topics to kind of catch your eyes, to kind of give me your impressions on what you think uh, in terms of the way they're being presented. Once I get some assistance, I can do some different things with those videos. But I thought mainly the content was what I wanted to make sure that I had given to you. And then I will actually be taking more study in this YouTube space I'm in, to learn how to deliver in ways that are engaging, and as well as teachable and educational as well. So I thank you for those of you who have taken the time to look at those. I appreciate it. Can you do a video on how to command courage even when you're shaking in your boots? Oh yes, definitely. I don't think I covered courage yet, so thank you, Abena. I will definitely do that. I think I have one. Oh, that I don't think that one's on courage though. Yeah, so I can do that one. I'll definitely do that one. I had been kind of looking at these in terms of how I was inspired and things I was hearing. So I didn't get to the courage yet, but I definitely will do that one. But generally, I say, in terms of courage, we are courageous people. The minute we leave, we gotten out of the bed, and we have the courage to step out our doors and get in our cars, because in the world we're living in right now is no guarantee that we're um, going to get to where we need to get to and back. So it's by God's grace that we're able to do that. So that courage is something we walk in every moment of the day. um, Nonetheless, we do have to make sure that we are being courageous a lot of times in spaces where we feel the energy is diminishing us, or we feel that we don't have the right or have the voice. And it's really interesting coming across this coaching methodology now, because I think back like 20, 30 years, maybe more, then I kind of wish that, certainly with the courage piece, that I had an understanding that a lot of times we're looking at fear, it's fear based something, which is why we're not showing up courageously. So we're afraid of the change itself. We're afraid of the process that we have to go through to change, and we're afraid of the outcomes a lot of times. Um, but it goes back to, as I was mentioning earlier, what undergirds all of these 5 principles is necessity. Why is it important for you to do this thing? And it's whatever, in the case of courage, and you may be frightened and apprehensive about dealing with a particular situation or person. Why is it important? What is it costing you? Because there's a cost. There's going to be a cost for you to stay in the situation and be unhappy. There's a cost, or and not say anything, I should say. And there's a cost to saying something. So for us, we have to each individually, and it's going to vary by the situation. We're going to have to figure out, can we pay? Can we afford to speak up, or can we afford to not speak up? And what's the cost? And then can we live with that? So it's almost like even role playing, the maybe if it's a challenging conversation, role playing the conversation with the person, and knowing all the ways that you need to impress upon this person why this situation needs to be, why you need to say something about it, and why you're saying what you're saying, because the cost to you is one you don't want to pay, whatever you determine that is. And the outcome of that may be not favorable for either one of you, but at least you've said your piece, and you've made that choice. You've decided that I'm going to walk through this fear, regardless of what I understand. The process is going to be painful. I understand that there's the outcome may not be what I want, but I have to walk through this because I have to live in congruence. And I think once we recognize what our North Star is, what is our center about who we are and who we want to show up as in the world, then we can, it's simply then in that case doing the thing that makes the most sense and is going to be congruent. It's not necessarily easy, so I'm not saying that it's easy, but I am saying it's a simple decision. It's not difficult, because to be the best of who you are, you have to live in truth and honesty with who you are. So courage is a tough one, and especially again depending on how you were raised. And I remember as a child, and we were told that children are to be seen and not heard, and we kind of still grow up with that little girl or little boy inside of us that feels that we don't have the right to speak up for ourselves, even when it's in defense of ourselves, that we don't have the right to do it. That is not a way that you are going to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve and support and defend and protect the people who are depending on you as well. You're going to have to learn what is your truth, sit in that, understand that there's a cost to not speaking it, decide if you want to pay that cost or price, and then make your choice accordingly from there. So that's what I'd offer on that topic. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you. That's pretty much all I had to share today. What I do want to encourage you to do, if you haven't, as I mentioned already, is to like and subscribe, share this video with people in your circle, people you feel that could benefit from this tribe, right? From the space that we're in. I'm working to build a tribe of very like-minded Black people who want to perform at their highest level in the spaces that are important to them. They decide what that looks like for them. What is performance to you? And then be in this space and share with us about what that looks like for you. And then have an opportunity to build within this community, because I would like to build it into that and bring some value to you from a coaching standpoint. So we will have some opportunities here. There may be a big question that I get, or just something that comes up while I'm moving about in the world, and I could post it here and get your thoughts, bring it to you, and just get your feedback on that, so we can do that. You all can do the same thing as well, to bring that to the group. So my desire is to do this weekly on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's a time that hopefully works for your schedule as well. So if not, they'll be recorded and in the videos section, I think, or the live section of this channel. So you'll be able to check the replays out. But please, if you can, be here live. That would be great to have this engagement. I really enjoy reading the comments and things like that. I just think it just makes it a much more engaging environment to be in. All right. So until next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you again so much for your time and attention, and stay safe and blessed. Bye bye.